Welcome back to the best damn nerd show. James Kincaid alongside Professor Chris Davis. And it is time once again to ponder the question, Davis, what if? And before I let my mouth run away with me and say what I got to say, I'm going to do my best to button up and yield the floor to you. We got episode 2, What If T'Challa Was Star-Lord? Your overall thoughts before we dive into some of the details of this episode.
Well, I think the first thing we need to bring up is we asked for somebody in our Discord, bestdamnnerdshow.com/Discord, to make us a GIF. It happened.
Now, that is true. That is a great point, yes.
We got our what if GIF, so thank you to the Cools, or one of them. I don't know who it was, but go check it out in our Discord. But yeah, that's our GIF now, so thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. The good. They used a different story. They went somewhere else. That was one of our big critiques last week, was that they just kind of went along with the original Captain America movie and didn't really get very creative. They got creative here. They told a different story.
Just you're using creative in a very loose sense, but yeah, I'll go along with it.
It's different.
I'll say they created.
Right. However, just doesn't mean it was good, and it wasn't. It was it was something else. We got Thanos not caring about who he is at all, and just being a farmer, and then for some reason not really giving him any sort of floor either later on. He's just kind of forgotten about in the second part of this episode, probably for a good reason, because he's not doing shit. He's just a farmer now, it sounds like. And then you have Black Panther as Star-Lord, who has changed who the Reavers are because of the good person that he is.
Okay, so
it stems off really bad.
If I may tag in here,
have at it.
The question should have been, what if T'Challa was the greatest thing to ever happen to the MCU and the total savior of the Marvel universe? That's what this episode is. It's not what if T'Challa was Star-Lord. It's what if we realized T'Challa was the savior of the entire Marvel universe, because that's how they presented him. And I want to say off the bat, we were all, wounded and hurt by the just tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman and everything like that. That doesn't change here. But this story, this episode was abysmal. It was so saccharine with how great, how perfect, how flawless T'Challa is in this thing. I mean, the right from the jump with when he was trying to steal the artifact, and the guy that said who to Peter Quill's Star-Lord is literally worshiping at his feet. They're fighting, and he apologizes for hitting him. Like, immediately the comedy level, I'm about to have a fucking aneurysm watching this. I'm just not feeling it whatsoever. It was so poorly done and so poorly written. In that respect, just right off the bat, I was like, that character is super annoying. I can't even think of his name right now, but oh my God, he was
the actor from Gladiator. Yeah. Yes. And who's a good character in everything he does.
He's playing Korath the Pursuer. And so Korath was one of the worst characters I have ever seen in this show. And it was just right from the jump, I was like, oh, wow. I was sort of cautiously optimistic. I thought I handled, the first episode with what if Peggy Carter took the super soldier serum pretty fairly, and I will agree with you that one of the positives is that, hey, this wasn't just a montage of the Guardians movie with T'Challa swapped in instead of Peter Quill. It was not that. It was a different story. But the story wasn't good, and the writing was terrible. The Korath's part was it was just nothing but sycophant irritation, cheese from him the entire episode, and he was very present the whole time. He might have been the second most prevalent character in this episode. And so he was just hitting us over the head again and again and again with how great T'Challa is. And I mean, is this like a joke about because Peter Quill made his decision in Infinity War? Is that why we're crapping on Peter Quill? Or are they crapping on Chris Pratt? What was the deal with this? But yes, T'Challa is so great that because he became Star-Lord, Thanos did not destroy half the universe. He literally talked him out of it. T'Challa's like, I sometimes have found words are more powerful than weapons. Like, what? I was astounded. The T'Challa as Star-Lord is so great that Thanos joins up with him and abandons his pursuit to court death and to get the Infinity Stones and everything of that nature. That was just completely ridiculous. So bad.
And unnecessary. Completely unnecessary.
Yes, completely unnecessary. I mean, holy Lord. But I want to give it some praise because there were a couple moments where this episode was working for me. And if they had leaned harder into it, I think that they were going for an Ocean's 11 kind of thing with this episode. But however, where it worked was
Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck.
No, we'll get to Howard. We'll get to Howard in a moment. No, where this episode worked for me was Nebula. She was actually really good, and I liked the whole film noir femme fatale vibe that they were giving her in this episode. But instead of sort of leaning into that, like if they had told me a film noir story, then I think we would have been cooking. But they were trying to do this weird comedic Ocean's 11 heist thing when I think they should have just leaned into more of the drama and intrigue with Nebula. And, not to be out, the characters were never in any danger. Like Nebula was never really duplicitous. And because the episodes are so short, they have to reveal that as soon as she betrays them pretty much.
Yeah.
But the part of this episode that actually was good where I was like, oh, okay, I dig that was Nebula. And that was it. That was completely it. I know you like Howard the Duck.
Yeah, we got a little bit more, man. It wasn't just a walk by. We got him out of his little cell and got him drinking and talking. Gotta love Howard, man. Gotta love Howard.
Yeah, I mean, look, he wasn't the worst part about this episode.
No.
That's for damn sure.
I'll take some comedy from Howard.
That's the character
fits.
that he is. Yes,
Yeah,
everything in its proper place. But yeah, the Korath, like that. I go back to that fight at the beginning where it's like, can I use my gun? Can I not? Like, and he hits him. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry, Star-Lord. No.
Yeah.
No, dude. And and even at the end, like one last like parting shot to Peter Quill is that he's just working at a fast food place as like a janitor, just mopping it up.
He's
like, it was nice to see Kurt Russell again, but it's like, you mean to tell me that Peter Quill, given his parentage and everything, wasn't destined to do great things either way?
Yeah. No, he's just gonna flip burgers.
I did like the increased usage of the Watcher in this. Like it felt like he offered a little bit more narration throughout the episode, which I appreciate because I really like Jeffrey Wright and I love his voice. So I think finding unique ways to sort of tell the stories. I think as bad as this episode was, I think this show works better if it was like an hour long.
Yeah.
Or 45 minutes or whatever you have to do on Disney Plus to sort of treat it like as if it was on television, because then coming back from break, you get the Watcher reintroducing where we're at and stuff like that. I don't know. I just feel like his sort of through line, it makes me feel more like I'm in the What If comic book scenario with more of him. We got a little bit more here. So that was definitely a positive. I in spite of how it did feel like one more sort of gut punch to Peter Quill on the way out the door. I like that we ended the story with a potential like sort of another story for another day. Right. That this is not a great thing, but yeah. So T'Challa becoming Star-Lord essentially just saves the entire universe.
Yeah. No, he's the savior.
He's the greatest thing. He's so great. A lot of people have told me he's the greatest. Just Sorry. It's just what if Donald Trump was Star-Lord? So anyway, it just was so bad. I was very disappointed, especially after, like, even though I didn't particularly like it, I thought that we had some potential, maybe a brewing after episode 1. But now we're right back down to this. This is bad.
Yeah, it's the bad and the good from these episodes just kind of switched.
Yeah, no, you're a good point.
it just kind of flopped, and so maybe the third one equals it out in the middle.
Hey, it could. I mean, that you're.
What if?
What if they find their footing in episode 3?
Right. Yeah.
That's Thanos stuff, man. And like they turned him into a total joke. Thanos.
Yeah. It turned him into a big, hairy joke.
Just a big punchline.
Yeah. It was sad.
And
like it'd be better if they just mentioned it and
why even mention it? Why not just have it still as like a I understand the butterfly effect thing, but he talked him out of it. Is what they came up with. He talked him out of it. And that Korath characters, which heist which like awesome thing that you did was your favorite? It's so hard to choose. What?
So I will say the what if this happened, like the action, like the scene where it changes things, so the Ravagers go to the wrong location on Earth because of the vibranium and the aura that gives off, because Yondu wasn't with them and he sent his thugs. That was better than
you
Peggy
like
Carter.
That better.
Yeah, that was better than Peggy Carter just deciding to stay downstairs.
Yeah, I don't know how much better it was, though.
Not much better, but it's better.
Because, like, still,
it is better.
And I get that they were, like, going for a laugh with, you know, confusing T'Challa and Peter Quill and stuff like that. And, you know, I think they expected to think, oh, look, Taserface is back. That'll be funny to them. No, it wasn't. It wasn't good.
Spoiler. It wasn't.
Sorry. But I'm not sure what episode's coming next for this.
It's better just to be surprised, I think, at this point. I don't want to know.
Yeah. But I was very eager because Davis and I did not talk before we hopped on to discuss this episode. I was curious about how you would feel about it, because I honestly don't know with you, Loki lover. So
I'm all over the place.
Yeah, I'm glad that your better demons prevailed here. I guess your better angels prevailed here, and you saw just what a absolute disaster this episode was.
It might just be whatever mood I'm in at the time.
It could be.
I want to have some fun, want to have some laughs, or do I?
You can have fun without being stupid.
You can.
Yeah, better that way. It's more fulfilling, and you earn it. Anyway, we'll leave what if right there. But again, let's do it next week. God help us all. Yeah, what if T'Challa saved the Marvel Universe? What if that show was not funny or good at all? But what if it was? Anyway, that's going to do it. That's going to do it for this episode. Have a great week, everyone. Remember, if you're a nerd, always say it loud and say it proud.